Hi, you're watching Mary Oscategui, Mompreneur Success Coach and founder of the International Maternity Institute. And today I'm going to be answering a question from one of our baby planners, soon-to-be graduates, who wrote in with this question. She said, "Hi Mary, I have a question regarding pricing. I want to do a half hour of a free Let's Get Acquainted consult. It will just be a short call where I speak about the various services I offer. Then for my only package, I want to keep it simple. I was going to have a first consult where I do an initial intake and then a second consult where we discuss the planning, baby plan, mommy plan, services I would recommend, and so on." So basically her question is, when do I discuss pricing options? Logically, it makes sense to talk about it during the first free 30-minute consult once we get acquainted. However, I wouldn't know exactly what the services she will need until the actual first initial intake that I do in my paid package. Do I give the client various pricing options like my workshops, my hourly rate, and then do I inform the client during the free session that if needed during the initial intake, upon my expertise, I would recommend some additional services if needed that would be at an additional charge, and perhaps we could work this within her budget? Okay, well, first of all, thanks for writing in. It's a really great question and one that I get asked most often. When do I introduce my pricing? So the first really great exercise that I think is extremely helpful is putting yourself in your potential client's shoes, right? We all make purchases. In our lives, we all at some point look to hire somebody, whether we go visit a doctor or maybe perhaps a lawyer or go get a massage or go get a haircut. At some point in our lives, we go purchase services ourselves. So before we make a purchase, what are some of the things that we look for, right? And how many times do we go searching for a service that we inquire about, and the service, the person behind the service, it becomes so sales pitchy or so sales oriented that we get turned off. And we're like, oh, I don't know about that, right? It's kind of the turn off. What happens a lot of times, especially with newer consultants coming into the baby planning industry, is that they have a tendency to get very excited, with a good reason to do so, get very excited about the services they offer, their business launching and so on, that when they meet their potential clients, that's indeed what they do. They take the time to just talk about their services, and here's what I can do for you, and this is what I'm about, and on and on and on. Okay, well, the most important thing, whether you offer a free consultation or a paid initial consultation, the most important thing is to first get acquainted with your client. So you are right on the mark in realizing, well, it's a good idea to first get acquainted with my client. Absolutely. Whenever a potential client comes to you, it's important that you take the time to get acquainted with them, find out who they are, what their needs are, how you can benefit them most, and so on. Okay, so now when do you introduce the pricing? Well, until you get to know your client, there's no sense in, stating your prices, because first you have to establish that relationship. They have to learn about you. They have to also get a feel for how it feels to them sharing their needs with you and how you respond. And then you also have to be given the opportunity to sit with your client, really gain a sense and understanding of where they're at and what their needs are, so that you can then figure out what's going to be appropriate, okay, what avenues you go upon. And for those of you who, of course, have taken our course, you know that in our sales and pricing section, we talk about lots and lots of options and how we are very, very flexible with those options when it comes to our clients, okay? So the first session should definitely be a session where if it's a free consultation, it's a getting acquainted consultation. If it's a paid consultation, it's still a getting acquainted consultation. The first session is always getting to know your client, getting to know what their needs are, figuring out whether your services and what their needs are a perfect fit. And then from that point, you can decide how you can best serve them and, what kinds of packages or rates and so on you can offer them, right, that would fit into them. So once you get acquainted with them, then you would follow up with them. And, perhaps at the end of your consultation, let's say in this case it's a 30-minute consultation, you've gotten to know them and so on, and you're getting a feel for what their needs are, and already you know that you can help them and that you have the perfect services to offer them. Then at that point in time, you would say to them, I would love to follow up with you to share with you some pricing options. How does that sound? okay? And you can email them those pricing options. You can talk to them on the phone for those pricing options. Or if you have some time at the end of your getting acquainted consult, at that point in time, you can show them a variety of different options then. But always wait. Wait to get to know your client. If you start your initial intake with somebody and the first thing you do is just talk about, your business, your services, what you offer, your pricing, there's going to be a very big disconnect from your client and yourself because, they are the very reason that your business exists, and they are the very reason that they're coming to you. And so if you take the time to learn about them and put the attention on them, okay, then not only will it establish a closer connection, but they'll also start to, gain more trust in you. They'll also start to feel more comfortable with you, and it'll be a lot easier for them to decide at the very end, oh, I really want to move forward and work with this person, okay? So you always start out getting to know your client, always, always, always. You can interweave if they ask some questions to you about your business. Of course, you want to, naturally answer those. But, watch yourselves. It's very easy to go off and talk about your business and talk about what you do and make it, fall into you mode as a business consultant or maternity consultant and so on. But again, whenever anybody's coming to you for your service, you really want to get acquainted with them and want to know how you can help them and what's the best way about doing that. So prices again can be introduced toward the end of your initial getting acquainted consult, okay? Or prices can be, you can follow up with them with your prices. And again, you can email, phone call, and so on, okay? So I hope that answered your question, and please feel free to send in more of your questions. I look forward to answering more via email. Thanks for joining me today. You've watched Mary Oscategui, Mompreneur Success Coach and founder of the International Maternity Institute.